talked about fatty liver a couple of different times, and the fact that there's a new study out there that says it affects 1 in 3 Americans. It's time to run a refresher course. I do believe non-alcoholic fatty liver disease affects 1 in 3 adults and is considered one of the most common liver diseases in the United States. The condition results in abdominal swelling and pain, as well as severe fatigue. The condition can be dangerous if it continues to progress, leading to chronic inflammation and cirrhosis. Normally, the liver is responsible for maintaining glucose homeostasis by ensuring that glucose is used up by the most efficient way possible. This means that it will break down starch, releasing glucose and providing it to other cells in the body for use as fuel for energy. It primarily works by maintaining the uptake and storage of glucose through glycogenesis. This is the process in which the liver stores glucose in the form of glycogen that serves as short-term energy reserves. Yes, before they get transported and creates adipose tissue, i.e. stored as fat. The liver also produces bile salts, which help absorb and break down fats. Waste products will then exit the body through the stool. Yep, and if you're eating an excessively fatty diet, that stool will be awfully brown. That's the bile salts working. However, according to Dr. Jason Fung, everybody have fung tonight, individuals with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease produce an abundance of fat in their liver through the process of de novo lipogenesis. That occurs when you consume foods with an abundance of glucose from carbohydrates. Glucose is commonly found in foods containing starch, such as potatoes, bread, rice, and flour. Fructose is another type of sugar that the liver breaks down exclusively. In fact, the liver is the only organ that is capable of processing fructose. See, you don't have to listen to me say it over and over and over again every week. It's there in writing. Dr. Fung says so. Fruits and honey contain natural fructose, which is healthy and nutritious in moderate amounts. Still, the same practice applies to it. It's just as healthy as the ones that come out of fruits, okay? And it's processed exactly the same. However, when people consume unnatural fructose, such as high fructose corn syrup, the liver will store it as new fat. Yeah, if it's not too busy breaking down other types of sugar, glucose, or any excess fructose in the body as well, and then it'll just, immediately get stored. This is because high fructose corn syrup is processed form of fructose that the liver cannot break down properly. Ideally, this new fat should be excreted to the body, but it does not happen in individuals whose diet is unhealthy. Instead, the extra fat will accumulate in the liver cells, leading to fatty liver disease. Yeah, because there's nowhere to go. It's trying to get processed by the liver, but it just kind of runs into the situation where it's like, oh, where do I go? And it's like, okay, we'll get you soon. Just go outside and hang out for a minute. And that's why I get a fatty liver, because it's doing as it's told. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease has also been observed in people with obesity and type 2 diabetes. Yeah, because everything else is fat. Insulin resistance is closely linked to developing fatty liver disease, and as many as 70% of obese and diabetic patients have been diagnosed with the disease. Yes, and about that many people, okay, looking at the U.S. general population, about 70% is overweight. And what is being overweight indicative of? Being pre-diabetic. Potentially, it's a big red flag. So this is largely attributed to the failure of their bodies to properly balance glucose and lipid synthesis in the liver, leading to high blood sugar and elevated levels of fat. Researchers have found a positive correlation between high carbohydrate intake and liver fat. Who would have thunk it? The study found that when people consumed a high diet of carbohydrates, namely starch, glucose, and fructose, they had a 27% increase in liver fat. The liver fat resumed to a normal level when the individual was taken off that high starch diet. The findings suggest that our diet plays a crucial role in the liver's ability to break down and process food molecules. Consuming too much starch, especially in the form of processed carbohydrates, can overwork the liver and cause it to store and accumulate too much fat, leading to chronic disease. So now you know the background. How do you fix this? If you find yourself in the category, and you might think then, oh boy, I should probably take closer care of my liver. So, what can you do? Incorporating a balanced, healthy diet full of organic foods, as well as exercising at least 30 minutes a day, can help manage fatty liver disease. Yeah, no, exactly. That all makes sense. Try cutting back on processed carbohydrates and sugars in your diet, as disease is caused by too much glucose and fructose. Studies have found that decreasing fructose and sugar consumption help reduce liver fat from 25 to 17% in an 8-week period. All right, another study aimed to investigate the effects of the Mediterranean diet. Wow, we talked about that yesterday, on fatty liver disease. They found that participants who ate a Mediterranean-style diet displayed a significant reduction in liver fat compared to a control group who ate a low-fat, high-carbohydrate diet. Yeah, no, exactly. All of those lies that the government was telling you about a healthy, balanced diet, yeah, actually makes you sicker and more dependent on the government. Imagine that. They also found that a diet helped increase insulin sensitivity. Insulin sensitivity is a key feature in both individuals with fatty liver disease and type 2 diabetics, as insulin resistance can reduce the efficiency of the liver's ability to break down glucose, worsening the condition. And then also, I see a little nod to it there as well. The ketogenic diet is just one of the many ways the individuals have used to help heal fatty liver disease. Yes, we've talked about that ad nauseum. Okay, just a little shout out to my preferred diet overall. Swap processed carbohydrates for healthier ones. Yeah, no, exactly. Stop eating processed food. Eat more natural food. Pretty simple. Prevent inflammation problems associated with lectins and legumes. That's another reason why I don't recommend eating legumes, because it leads to high levels of inflammation. Every bean that's out there will basically walk you down that path. So just don't. Okay, just sprout them if you're looking at that as well. Okay, if you wish to eat bread, don't smack it out of somebody's hand. Consume with a low to moderate glycemic index is a good idea. Yeah, no, exactly. Sweet potatoes, apples, blueberries. Basically your berries and your melons, okay? Not those melons, you perverts, but watermelons, cantaloupe, honeydew, those ones are pretty good. Meat is also a good source of protein and other nutrients, especially iron, iodine, and omega-3. Grass-fed beef and bison, and then also properly supplementing in order to offset the omega-6s that are just naturally occurring in a regular diet, okay? Not like you're sourcing them out, and it's not like you shouldn't be consuming them. It's just an overwhelming balance in one direction as opposed to the other. Eating raw honey compared to refined sugar will also prove more health benefits from the trace minerals such as vitamins, amino acids, antioxidants, especially present in dark honey. Yeah, for all that stuff. It's good to remember that you do not have to completely cut out food components from your diet from the purposes of health and weight loss, as it is not balanced or healthy in the long term. Choosing unprocessed foods will help rebalance the body the natural way. Foods are more than just groups that they belong to. Natural fruits, there's unnatural fruits, interesting. Vegetables, grains, and carbohydrates all contain many trace elements and macronutrients, but you know what's not included in that group? Processed foods, imagine that. Or eliminating whole food components, sorry. It is better to look at food as a whole, focusing on the quality when it comes to form. Oh, and where it comes from, sorry. In this way, we can naturally filter out the bad food in our diet while maintaining a healthy weight and avoiding chronic disease, like fatty liver. It's terrible, man. It'll walk you down a path of just overwhelming sickness, okay? Because if your liver's not up to snuff, okay, you're going to have a bunch of different problems. So you need to make sure that it's in tip-top shape. Don't be drinking to excess. Don't even be drinking at all. What are you doing, okay? And then also, you know what, you're not Willy Wonka, so put down the chocolate bar. With all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.